Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Game Master Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video I am going to be taking a look at Chapter 3, Character Profiles for Marvel Multiverse Role-Playing Game. So I picked this up about a month ago, and I've been, slowly but surely actually digging into it and really enjoying it so far. I think it's a really interesting system, one that I haven't played this kind of a game system that often, and the genre as well. I have old school superheroes kind of games. So I'm a big fan of Villains and Vigilantes, especially the second edition, which is when I played it. I have TSR's Marvel superheroes. And I have played several others along the way. Vigilante City from Bloat Games, as well as probably a few others along the way. I played Heroes and Champions back in the day, but I've always preferred Villains and Vigilantes over these other ones. So, but really interested in a Marvel role-playing game. Really interested in the fact that Marvel themselves have produced this, and that's both a positive and potentially a negative, because I haven't started to do a closer look at how much additional support they're going to do with this game system. As I go through this first look series of videos, near the end, or maybe as of last video, I will take a look at what Marvel is doing in the upcoming weeks, months, or possibly even years about continuing to support Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. So without further ado, we're going to take a look at just Chapter 3, and then I will, the next chapter is going to be a big one. That's the combat chapter, Chapter 4. So I'm going to go super in-depth with that as well. So, and then character creation following that. So that will be a really good video for you to make sure that you subscribe and hit the alert button so you'll know when I get to those. And I'm planning on those coming over the next week and a half or 2 weeks, and getting all the way through combat and then character creation within the next 2 weeks, possibly 3 at the most. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. And let me just make sure, yes, we are looking at the screen. And so here we have character profiles, and again, full disclosure, Marvel does not put out a PDF for this. This is the PDF from their play testing. So it is going to be different, what I show you on screen, than what it is in the book itself. So if I see anything that really jumps out that's different, I will switch views and come and take a look at it here in the book as well. So I will be going back and forth between the two. There is more detail in the book than what is here. I know that because the page count is much larger in the book than what appears here as well. So, character profile. In the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game, you can create your own hero from scratch, or you can take on the role of any of the legendary Marvel heroes you already know and love. You decide what your hero does within the game, and your hero's profile, as recorded on their character sheet, helps determine how well they do it. Here's how characters work, as described through the set of statistics and descriptions we call a character profile. See the profile of Spider-Man, Peter Parker, to the left by the way of an example. All right, so character data. When you create your own character, you can fill in the top part of the character sheet with whatever details you like. These usually don't influence the game's mechanics, but they can affect how other characters in the game see them and interact with them. Such details can also provide intriguing subject matter for adventurers or stories that feel personal and therefore the most important to the characters involved. So, codename, the character's publicly known name if it is different from their real name. Their real name is the character's regular secret name or regular or secret name. Gender, height, weight, eyes, hair, skin, distinguishing features, anything out of the ordinary, occupation, how the character spends their days, teams, any teams or organizations the character is associated with, base, the place the character works or lives, history, a short biography, and personality, some notes on how the character acts. And that is identical to what is in the book as well. Character ranks. So characters are ranked as measurements of their experience and or raw power. And so I'm going to skip over the words there and jump right into what each rank is. So rank number 1, you're just getting started. A day ago, a week ago, a month ago, you thought you were a normal person, but now things are changing fast. Rank 5, some of your powers have manifested and you have gained some experience. You could guard a neighborhood just like Daredevil guards Hell's Kitchen, or join a team like the Defenders to protect a city. Rank 10, you are an experienced and formidable superhero. You could protect a city like Spider-Man protects New York, or join a nationally renowned team like the Champions or Alpha Flight. Rank 15, you are one of the most powerful superheroes in the nation. You could be the country's champion, like the Black Panther or Captain America. Or you can join an internationally known team like the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, or the X-Men. Rank 20, you are one of the most powerful superheroes on the planet, like Thor or Doctor Strange. You could protect the globe all by yourself, and even elite teams like the Avengers would eagerly welcome you to their ranks. Rank 25, you are powerful enough to intervene in interstellar conflicts and single-handedly change the outcome. Like Captain Marvel or the Silver Surfer, you may make choices that decide the fate of entire star systems. Your archetype. And so once again, so far, that is pretty much the same. They do give rank names. So rank 1 is a rookie. Rank 2, so they don't jump up to rank 5 here. They go rank 2 is a protector. Rank 3 is a champion. Rank 4 is a legend. Rank 5 is mythic. And rank 6 is cosmic. All right, so the terms, the wording in it stayed the same, but they changed the rankings from 1, 2, 3, instead of having them go in the intervals that they do there, all the way up to rank 6. Next in the book, they go to ability scores, where here they're talking about archetype. So this has changed between the two as well. So let's see where this talks about ability scores. Here we go. There are 6 ability scores, abilities, right? Might, agility, resilience, vigilance, ego, and logic. Here they change those to melee, agility, resilience, vigilance, ego, logic. All right, so they changed them up a little bit when you get to the hardcover of the book, as opposed to the test materials. But again, where they change them, their description remains the same, right? Melee measures the character's brawling ability in close combat. Shang-Chi, Thor, and the Hulk are famous for their high melee. It is an important score for the characters who like to fight with their fists. Melee attacks, melee action. So this is all pretty much the same. So melee action is might action checks for things like breaking down doors, punching, and powerlifting. Melee action checks for things like punching or throwing. Melee defense, which helps against being grappled, thrown, or otherwise knocked around. And this is grabbed, punched, thrown, or otherwise knocked around, so pretty much the same. And then you have an agility attribute score, and then the variety of things that fall within that. And pretty self-explanatory there. Resilience. Resilience checks for things like resisting torture and enduring extreme conditions. Defense, which helps against being poisoned, infected, or harmed through other means. And a character's health at each rank. And that is pretty much the same. Vigilance is an action checks for things like investigating crime scenes and searching for hidden objects. Defense, which helps against being surprised or ambushed. And so far that hasn't changed. A character's focus at each rank. And then a character's initiative modifier also comes from vigilance. That's a change from the hardcover, in the hardcover that was not in the playtest. Ego. You have ego action checks for things like intimidating or persuading people and using psychic powers. That's pretty much the same. Ego defense protects against psychological trauma and mind control. That remains the same. And then the damage dealt with using some powers. That is different. So in the book, it says the use of magical and elemental powers. Logic. Logic actions check for things like inventing gadgets, solving puzzles, and using complex weapons. That's the same here. Logic defense is which helps against being confused, befuddled, or tricked. Same here. And finally, the use of telepathic powers, the damage dealt by complex weapons, and some powers. Yeah, so it changed it here, the use of telepathic powers. They go into ability checks. The character's ability score is added to any action check made using the ability. The character also has the ability modifiers based on their archetype, and those modifiers increase with rank. To figure a character's total action modifier for an ability check, add the character's ability score to their archetype rank modifier. And defense works the same way. We have health and focus, and they should be pretty self-explanatory. And then we have a section on karma. Karma represents the wild mix of luck, grit, and destiny that seems to intervene in the lives of heroes and villains. Major characters, including all PCs, usually have karma equal to half their rank rounded up. A character makes an action check. They can spend the point of karma to gain an edge on the check. When the enemy makes an action check that affects the character, the target can spend the point of karma to give the attacker trouble on the check. All right, so edge and trouble, and I'll go into more detail with that when I get into the combat and dice resolutions. A character cannot spend more than 1 point of karma on any given action check. A character's karma resets to its standard number each time they get a decent night's sleep. All right, and that is unchanged in the final rule set. Earning karma, they basically call that recovering karma. and I'm just double checking to see that they're essentially the same. So you recover karma when you're going to make a check. Your target number is a 10 in order to recover karma. If a hero is low on health or focus, they can spend a karma point to make an action check to recover some of it. For health recovery, they roll a karma check. Their target number is 10 to recover some health. You cannot spend additional karma on this check to re-roll a die. In some circumstances, a character's teammate can spend a point of karma to give them a recovery check as well. Earning karma, let's see if it's the same. The player did an excellent job of role-playing the character. That remains the same. A character rescued somebody. That remains the same. A character went out of their way to help somebody. Remains the same. A character made an inspiring speech. Yep, that's still there. A character shouted their catchphrase at an appropriate moment. That is still there. And one of the character's challenging traits came into play. And that is also there. So those are ways that you can regain your karma. Initiative modifier. And again, initiative, you probably all know, whichever side wins initiative is the side that is going to go first in their actions. Sometimes initiative has been individualized, so you roll individual initiative. Sometimes you'll do side initiative instead to kind of streamline it. Really depends on how many players you have. So if you only have one player and you're doing this where they're really the focus of the whole story and the campaign, then obviously you're just doing individualized initiative. Or if you have like 1, 2, or possibly 3, I would individualize it because it's a small enough group to actually do it that way. So fight damage and rain damage. So we are still going through, and still in this section, it's kind of strange that some of those things are still making their way into, into this part of the book and this part of the rule set. But we're going to get right to backstory now. So now you have the origin, which seems to be more of a character profile than those other components there that I will probably revisit when I'm doing combat, because that's where they really come into play more so. So you have your origins, and you have a variety of different origins that you can do. And these are alien, high-tech, magic, mutant, special training, weird science, and those are unchanged from the playtest which you're looking at and what are in the book as well. Then you have your occupations, and let's see how these have changed. We have criminal, healthcare worker, right? That's changed from doctor, investigator, that comes down here. Journalist is here, then lawyer, then leader. Leader is not here, so that has changed. Then you have military, and military, a soldier. They have soldier here. Outsider remains. Scientist most likely remains. Yes, it does. Spy is there. Student is there. And tycoon. So just one minor change in there. Leader was removed, and doctor was turned to healthcare worker. Traits, and they don't have very much detail here in traits, but they do in the book. So I am going to switch over to this view here, and and you can see where traits they just had like one paragraph for traits. Here they're going into I'm looking over here. It goes into tags and other things. So adding traits and then adding tags. So here's some examples. Spider-Man has the following traits: audience, combat reflexes, connections and sources, free running, inventor, pundit, scientific expertise, and weird. Spider-Man also has the following tags: heroic obligation to his Aunt May, he is poor, he has a secret identity. All right, so that is the the portion of the written portion of it, and then some they give you some examples here. So they've been using Peter Parker and Spider-Man for the example here, and then we go right into the combat chapter. So let me locate where it's going to give you Spider-Man. Let's see how they break Spider-Man down in the book, or in the playtest, I should say. And let's see if they actually do that. So bear with me as I search for Spider-Man. As an example in the playtest. They're clearly doing them in this order. Okay, so let's, I am going to make sure that we're looking, and here we go. So here we have Spider-Man, and you can see his ability scores. So he has a 5 of might, a 7 of agility, a 3 of resilience and vigilance and ego, a 2 of logic. Here are his modifiers. So a plus 12, a plus 9, 14, and so on. His defense for might is a 23, a 25 for agility and such. Initiative modifiers, he has plus 7 with an edge. Speed, which we'll go into when we deal with combat, but he has a speed of 32 or 6 spaces. He has a climb speed of 32 or 6 spaces. He has a jump speed of 32. He has a swinging speed of 64 or 13 spaces. His fight damage is 3d6 plus 14 plus 7. His range damage is 3d6 plus 14 plus 7. He has average size, a karma of 5. Here are his powers. So jumping might, he has spider dodge, spider sense, spider strike, venom blast, wall crawling, web casting, web grabbing, web slinging, web trapping. Utilities, he has camouflage. And here it goes into his actual background. Oh, this is a different form of Spider-Man. So this is the polymath. All right, so this is the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Let's see if we had the original Spider-Man. We possibly don't. So I would have liked to have seen the Peter Parker Spider-Man, which they do have in the book. So yes, they don't include that in the playtest. So I am going to switch back over to here. So Spider-Man, let's see how it's a little different here. See, here they have the traits, they have the connections, the tags, I mean. Then they have the powers, which is his basic powers become brilliant, combat, trickery, evasion, inspiration, integrity, mighty, and wisecracker. And his superpowers are jump, spider dodge, sense, strike, wall crawling, web casting, web gliding, web grabbing, web slinging, and web trapping. and it goes through his history as Peter Parker. And let's see if they give multiple versions of him here. No, it's just the second page here. So it would really be nice. So that's his full character sheet, right? There's part 1 and then part 2. It would be really nice when Marvel gets around to doing a PDF version of this. I certainly think that will open this up for a lot more people to actually begin to engage with this, because without the PDF version, it does make it very, very difficult to, and this has been my experience too, very difficult to attract players to a game when it doesn't have a PDF version of it. And I don't mean to just rely on just the PDF, but there are certain aspects of the PDF that really open this up to facilitate gaming, right? So I can print out the character templates that it has, and then hand them out. Now I'm sure that there's probably a free character sheet that you can have, but you're not going to have access to like the 100 plus superheroes that are in here that you can hand out as pre-gens, all right, without having a PDF version of this. So, you know, I'm, again, like I said, I want to look deeper into this as we go along, and I want to see how much additional support they're going to give to this game system. And one of the main things that they really need to do if they want this to become a big thing is to have a PDF. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will try to modify as much of this presentation format for you as possible with the combat chapter, because I have a feeling that the combat is going to change quite a bit between the playtest materials and what has actually made its way into the book. That playtest total size was, and I'm just going to flip to it real quick, was just 124 pages, and the hardcover book itself is, I won't include the character sheets, although that might be kind of difficult to do. They have the characters, the Marvel Universe. Let's see where they put in all the characters. But anyway, the overall book is over 305 pages, so it's a huge difference between the two. Now, granted, a number of these pages are dedicated to the bios of each of the characters, so that is all chapter 8. So chapter 8, taking a look at it, is running from 133 to 263. So that's 130 pages is giving you the characters. So if we add 130 to 124, we're still ending up with 157 pages, as opposed to something that is a total of 305. So there's still a lot more content in the book here. Even if you take out the character sheets as a set aside, and you're just looking at gameplay and game mechanics content, the book is much more advanced than what is in the playtest. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen sometime soon, or in person at a convention. Now that the convention season, has begun for many of us, and just looking forward to continued gaming throughout the next couple of weeks and months. And be on the lookout, subscribe, hit the alert button so that you'll see when chapter 4 drops, and then later on chapters 5 and 6 and so on. I will spend a little bit of time on chapter 8 just going over some of the player characters. I might have to use my drop down camera so that you can see that. Hopefully, it actually displays well so that you'll see it clearly. And as always, thanks for dropping in. I hope you like this, and have a great upcoming weekend. Next weekend rolling around. For many of us, it'll be a 3-day weekend with Columbus Day coming in. So Monday will be next, not tomorrow, but the following Monday will be a holiday, and so many of us will have 3-day weekends to celebrate and get that much more gaming time in. So have a great day. Take care.